introduced.
I've been introduced. Thank you. How's everybody doing?
Great, very good.
Well, thank you for coming. I'm Mellie Price. I'm one of the managing directors here at Capital Factory and a general partner to the investment fund. I've been here since the beginning. Was a mentor. I was actually still running my last company when we started Capital Factory. And so I started as a mentor, and over the last basically 7 years, have played every role from mentor to lead mentor to partner to managing director and now fund manager. I think I didn't hear my intro, so hopefully you guys know I'm a longtime entrepreneur, 8-time entrepreneur, and I guess today I'm going to share with you a little bit about Capital Factory. Have any of you all been here before? My understanding is you're generally from out of town. How many of you live in places where there's an incubator, accelerator? Okay. So Capital Factory, Austin is exploding. So Capital Factory and its success is very closely tied to the booming of Austin. We have about 150 people a day that move here. We grew 12.5% last year, about 10% the year before. So in the last 5 to 10 years, our city has really grown. And with that, downtown has become kind of the place for all things technology. And so Capital Factory, we actually started with just this 10-week incubator program. At the time there weren't a lot of incubators, and we borrowed space and we kind of bootstrapped our way into being an accelerator program. And after running 3 cohorts, what we did is 10 weeks, we'd bring in about 10 companies, and we'd run them through the 10-week program and give them some tools, and then we'd have a demo day and we'd all go back to our lives. And after doing that 3 times, we realized you really can't tell a startup when they should be where in their cycle, and you can't really time your demo day with like the perfect terminus of all startups are at the best place in their lives. So we thought, very organically, I always say Capital Factory is a startup in and of itself, because very organically we grew out of what we learned from those first 3 cohorts. And what we realized is that you really need a year-round program. And so we in our 4th cohort, we decided, okay, we're going to open this up year-round. And what do you need if you are going to have a year-round program? You need space. So the 16th floor that we're in, have you all gotten a tour? Do you have any context for other than the classroom? So the 16th floor is 25,000 square feet, goes end to end. There's co-working space on the other side of the front desk, open desks throughout the middle, and then there's boardrooms and meeting rooms sort of interspersed throughout, phone rooms and things like that. And so we were like, okay, we need space. So we got space, and then we started accepting accelerator applications once a month, and then all of a sudden we're getting hundreds of applications a month, and only able to accommodate a very small percentage of those, about 5%, get into the program. And then out of that we were like, what else do startups need? Well, they all need money. We should start a fund. So we started a fund. So long story short, Capital Factory's really grown from this growth of Austin and just the learning of what do startups need to be successful. And we now have 3 floors. So we have this floor and the 5th floor and the 7th floor. And so as our companies grew out of their open desk environment, and several of them said, oh, we need offices, we got the 5th floor and it has offices. And then we got some more space, and we have international companies coming in to make their headquarters in Austin, and we're facilitating that. So over the last 7 years, we've really grown to be the center of density for all things, startup in Austin. We'll do about 50,000 visitors this year will come through this space. We do about 850 events a year. The co-working space, which is across the way and then down on the 5th floor, has just over 800 members. So it's a rotating cast of characters. So at any given point, we may have 300-400 startups present in this ecosystem. And naturally, that kind of volume makes a fund a natural platform. So you get that kind of volume. We're really able to like live and work with these companies. We know who's working hard and who's, you know, embodying the ingredients of success, and it makes it natural to want to invest in them. So at this point, our fund, which is a $9 million fund, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in startup land, that is a lot, and we write on average $50,000 checks. And the way our fund works is an extension of the accelerator program. So company may come into Capital Factory as like just I'm interested in a start. How many of you are interested in working in an early stage company? Like, how many already do? Okay, how many are thinking about it? Okay. So if you're interested, you may come and just co-work, and you know, being surrounded by hundreds of entrepreneurs is a very inspiring thing. There's a lot of resources that come with that. And you know, you may come in as a coworker and then find a company that you want to work with, or start a company and attract other members to it. And as you evolve through that, you may apply to the accelerator program. And once you're in the accelerator program, you're generally speaking, you're fundraising at that point. And so your goal is to connect with any of the Capital Factory partners. There's about 100 that if you can convince them to invest their time and their money, Capital Factory Fund will match that up to $25,000 per partner, $50,000 total. So if I'm Mellie, I walk in, I have a new startup, I meet 100 partners, I resonate with 2 of them, they write a $25,000 check, they become my advisors, my fund will match that. So I get 50 from the partners, 50 from the fund. Then we have venture capital partners that match our match. So Silverton here in Austin, which is a Series A player mostly, great fund. And then Mike Mabel's fund called Floodgate out on the West Coast match our matches. So that's another 50. So you've got $150,000. Then we also do AngelList Syndicate, which generally speaking adds another 50 to 250,000. So if you are able to get into the accelerator and convince the partners, then you leave the program, or you come into, you know, $150 to $400,000 in funding, and you're off to the races. And then naturally, this ecosystem that we now have, the 60,000 square feet across 3 floors, we have hopefully every resource you could imagine. I'm sure you guys could probably imagine some resources we don't have. We do not have any supercomputers. But we have a device lab, a video lab, you know, complete capability to produce any kind of content you want. You know, for a startup, if you're doing something with hardware, it's much more effective to collaborate with devices and things like that. And then, you know, naturally there's literally 100+ mentors and partners of all kinds of subject matter expertise to be available to you while you know, at the various stages. You might be like, I'm working on my pricing model, and okay, now I'm doing that. Like, how do I scale my sales? And okay, wow, I ran into a founder problem. I need some legal advice or marketing advice or search engine optimization, any of that. So mentors pretty much across the gamut. And so at this point, you know, we've got 35 companies, actually I think it's 38 now, that we've matched. So we've written 38 checks to companies in the accelerator program. And we have another 38 companies that were founded by our partners. So that's a really special thing about Capital Factory, is that our partners, you know, are very generous to our ecosystem. And guys like Dean Draco, who started Barracuda Networks, Jonathan Kuhn, who started 1-800-CONTACTS and now has a new venture called Impossible Ventures, those guys actually allow Capital Factory Fund to invest in their deals. And so we're in 38 companies that were founded by Capital Factory partners who are longtime entrepreneurs. And so it's too early to tell, but we're about 2.5 years into our 4th fund, which has all those investments. and hopefully in a couple more years we'll be singing our success story about our model. So keep your eyes peeled on that, because I do think it's a really unique venture fund model, and I can answer questions about that if anybody's interested. So I think that should give you kind of the fire hose of Capital Factory and what it is and what we do. And if any of you are interested in either finding a startup and, you know, coming to events, like I said, we host 850 events a year. There's pretty much multiple events going on here every day. A lot of our content, for those of you that aren't in town, is available via video now. We have partners through Google for Entrepreneurs. We have partners with a lot of accelerators, both nationally and internationally. So if you're not from Austin, you might go to Google for Entrepreneurs and look at their partner accelerator programs. They also have some great content programs. It might be a way for you to get involved in your community. And a really cool thing about the Google for Entrepreneurs, it's called the Tech Hub Network, is that we have reciprocity between us. So if you start a company and you're trying to move into another city, you can actually go, you know, we host people from San Francisco and Nashville and some of the different other hubs. So that might be a great way to get involved in your local community.
So I got a quick question on that. So you said that, so I have a friend who's looking for markets to start up her startup in, and what you're saying is that you go through this Google for Entrepreneurs site, and then they give the reference, or what I talked to you today about
No,
that?
they're just, Google, having Google's resources, has made an effort to aggregate the best programs in the world, literally. And so if you go there, and chances are if there's one in your city that they've partnered with, you'll be able to identify it. Because at this point, there's many accelerators, many co-working spaces, and it's just a quick and efficient way to identify, the more prominent ones that are doing global work.
Yeah, I'm super curious about, because every city now has, or every great city has an incubation space or several incubation spaces. But I know people who are trying to pick a market and like explore that market, who are like maybe out of Seattle or San Francisco.
Right.
So what you're saying is they would contact you and say, hey, I got this great idea. I want to start it up in this region, and it's a technology that's bound to like regional.
So if they're in Seattle, they would go to the Seattle partner.
Yeah.
And then through the Seattle partner, if they said, hey, Austin might be a market we're interested in, they could come to us through their Seattle hub.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments? I'd love to get your feedback as a group of people that haven't been here, what your experience has been like.
I just have a question of, as part of the application of a successful applicant, Capital Factory takes no stake as part of a successful applicant. Is that right?
No, actually, all the accelerator programs, there's an equity component. So we take 2% is when you come into the accelerator, and then the funds are on whatever terms you've raised. We do actually, that's one of the benefits of accelerator companies, is we try to streamline the legal process and the fundraising process and whatnot. So if you raise money from a partner and from the fund and from our follow-on investors, that's usually done under a convertible note that has predetermined investment criteria, $3 million cap, 20% discount. So yeah, we take 2% as the accelerator. By the time you bring on 2 lead mentors and you do the full fundraising, it's usually about 4%, plus the terms on your note. So it's pretty cost effective from an incubator accelerator program perspective. Anybody else have questions? Yes?
Yeah. So your top 3 advice for the entrepreneur to be?
Be curious. I don't think that's hard for this group. Act with complete integrity, which sounds obvious, but it's surprisingly hard when you're trying to be scrappy. And surround yourself with people smarter and different than yourself. That was not rehearsed.